He said, this mystery is symbolized on earth in the rituals of Good Friday and Easter. You have observed that the anniversary of this cosmic event, announced every year by the church, is not a fixed date, as are other anniversaries marking births and deaths. But this day changes from year to year, falling anywhere from the 22nd day of March to the 25th day of April. So right there, he's already letting you know that this anniversary, whatever you want to call it, never falls on a fixed date. If someone dies on June 25th, he or she forever death date is going to be on June 25th. If a new year come by and they saying that this person has died on May 25th, you can just remove me from ever associating with that person and whoever else is with them, because at that point, y'all on some wicked stuff and I'm gone. All right, so you got to question stuff that don't make sense always, right? Let's move forward. The day of resurrection is determined in this manner. The first Sunday after the full moon in Aries is celebrated as Easter. Aries begins on the 21st day of March and ends approximately on the 19th day of April. The sun's entry into Aries marks the beginning of spring. The moon in its monthly transit around the earth will form sometime between March 21st and April 25th, in opposition to the sun, which opposition is called a full moon. So, y'all follow me. He's basically breaking down the cosmic transition that's happening with the sun and the moon. So he's basically letting y'all know that this date does not only symbolize something going on within yourself, but it also symbolizes something happening with the cosmics. You know what I mean? So let's move forward. The first Sunday after this phenomenon of the heavens occurs is celebrated as Easter. The Friday preceding this day is observed as Good Friday, which is today, right? He said, this movable date should tell the observant one, which is you, to look for some interpretation other than the one commonly accepted. These days do not mark the anniversaries of the death and resurrection of an individual who lived on earth. Boom. Let me read it again for you. This movable date should tell the observant one to look for some interpretation other than the one commonly accepted. These days do not mark the anniversaries of the death and resurrection of any individual who lived on earth. A lot of y'all ain't gonna like that, but we're gonna keep moving forward. Seen from the earth, the sun in its northern passage appears at the spring season of the year. To cross the imaginary line, man calls the equator. So it is said by the mystique to be crucified or crucified, that man might live. It is significant that soon after this event takes place, all nature begins to arise or resurrect. All nature begins to arise or resurrect itself from its long winter sleep. Therefore, it may be concluded that this that this disturbance of nature at this season of the year is due directly to this crossing. Thus, it is believed that the Son must shed its blood on the Passover. So again, he's breaking down how the actual Son is crossing over the equator and how we can symbolize the crossing as the crucifixion of the Son, the actual Son, being crucified and moving into the new year, which is spring. For those of you that don't know, spring is actually the new year, not the Western civilized new year that they told you, which is January 1st. But you can believe what you want to believe. This is why he's saying that it's ironic how during this time, things that were asleep, things that were dead comes to life. Speaking on things as far as like nature. If you look at around you, the trees are starting to bloom more. Flowers are starting to bloom. Things happen with animals. Everything in nature starts to come alive during this time. Even yourself. And we're going to move forward into how this applies to you as a person. He say, if these days mark the death and resurrection of a man, they would be fixed, so they would fall on the same date every year as all other historical events are fixed. But obviously, this is not the case. If these days mark the death and resurrection of a man, they would be fixed. If these days mark the death and resurrection of a man, they would be fixed. I already told y'all. If Bobby died on March 1st, we're going to always celebrate his demise, his passing on March 1st. We're not just going to wake up one day, I think he died on March 21st and just start. You feel me? Like, bro, it don't make sense, bro. Like, just ask yourself questions, bro. Like, that's all you got to do. Just ask questions. All right? It says, these dates were not intended to mark the anniversaries of the death and resurrection of Jesus the man. The scriptures are psychological dramas and will reveal their meaning only as they are interpreted psychologically. So you will only understand the scriptures if you interpret them psychologically, because the scriptures were wrote in a psychological format. This is why they don't tell you exactly what things mean. As within, so without. You don't even, you hear that, you won't know what that means. But if you put it in a psychological context, then you will start to understand what it means. Okay, as within, so without. Who am I within? What am I feeling within? What am I thinking within? How do I speak to myself within? Because what I feel within is what's going to project in my outer world. But they're not going to break it down for you like that in the Bible. This is why the Bible is a great book. All right? Let's move forward. These dates are adjusted to coincide with the cosmic changes which occurs at this time of year, marking the death of the old year and the beginning or resurrection of the new year or spring. As I just told you, this is the new year. I know we turned up for January 1st. 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. We did that, right? Cool. But this is really the new year that we're walking into according to the universe. How are you going to argue with the universe? The universe that you live with. The universe that you live in. That's ungrateful if you do that. You know what I mean? So he said, these dates do symbolize the death and resurrection of the Lord, but this Lord is not man. It is your awareness of being. It is recorded that he gave his life that you might live. Now again, he said, these dates do symbolize the death and resurrection of the Lord, but this Lord is not man. It is your awareness of being. Okay? And he has a scripture right here. I am come. He said, I am come that you might have life, and that you might have it more abundantly. And this is how he breaks down the book. Like, he would put a scripture in it and then move forward and break it down for you. This is why I like this book. He says, consciousness slays itself by detaching itself from that which it is conscious of being, so that it may live to that which it desires to be. That sums up the whole meaning. I really don't got to read no further. We talked about the cosmic meaning of this change, and then he basically just gave you the psychological meaning behind it and how it relates to you as a man, as a woman. He says, so understand that we are talking about the crucifixion and the resurrection, right? So understand, consciousness slays itself by detaching itself from that which it is conscious of being. So basically, he's letting you know during this time, you should be slaying the old way of thinking, the old way of how you carried yourself, the old way of how you move, of how you treated people, of how you treated yourself. You should go ahead and crucify that old way of thinking, that old way of living. Detach yourself from that. You say, so that it may live, once you detach yourself from that, so that it may live to that which it desires to be. Once you detach yourself from your old way of thinking, your old consciousness, then you will begin to be able to walk into the person who you desire to be. When you walk into the person who you desire to be, when you start thinking the way the person that you desire to be would think, you will have everything that you desire. Okay? Spring is the time of year when the millions of seeds which all winter lay buried in the ground suddenly spring into visibility, that man might live. And because the mystical drama of the crucifixion and resurrection is in the nature of this yearly change, it is celebrated at this spring season of the year. But actually, it is taking place every moment of time. Let me read that top part for you again. Spring is the time of year when the millions of seeds which all winter lay buried in the ground suddenly spring into visibility, that man might live. You can apply this to yourself. How can you apply this to yourself? If you have been planting seeds last year, if you have been working on yourself last year, and we fall, we slip up, things don't always go according to how we want them to go, but this is the time now to start over. And for those that were planting seeds last year or in the wintertime, you should start to see those seeds begin to flourish. Whether it was a business idea, whether it was a physical journey, you wanted to lose weight, you wanted to get fit, you wanted to stop smoking, whatever it is that you've been working on, you should start to see the fruits of your labor for you planting those seeds back then. This is why now, if you didn't plant any seeds, or if the seeds that you did plant did not flourish, this is a great time for you to be fasting. Today is a good day for you to fast from everything and start over again. So that way when Sunday comes around, the resurrection day comes around, you will be walking into the new you, the new person that you desire to be. This is why I'm taking my time out today to not eat any foods, and I'm just fasting, I'm cleansing, I'm drinking water. I'm doing a water fast. This always works for me, and it also helps me to build discipline. It helps me to stay focused, and it gets me back aligned with myself. Because once you start to feel, once you start to deprive yourself from things you like and things like that, you really start to sit with yourself and get focused, if you understand what I mean. So take this time out, whether it's today, Saturday, or Sunday. One of those days you need to be fasting. Even all 3 of those days you should be fasting. Do a fruit fast, do a water fast, do a juice fast, a juice cleanse. Do something to also cleanse your inner body. It's not always just about the outer shell. It's about the inner shell. Because that's what really matters. As I told you, as within, so without. Everything in you is connected. Those foods you eat, controls the way you think. Even with sex, the releasing of your seed as a man controls the way you think, controls your anxiety. The more you release, the more anxiety you have. The more you release, the more depressed you are, the more you're not yourself. The foods you eat align with your emotions. Understand this. But we're gonna finish it out. He said, the being who is crucified is your awareness of being. I just told you that. The cross is your conception of yourself. So now he's getting into the symbology of the cross. He's saying, this is why I love this book. He's saying the being who is crucified is your awareness of being. As he told you, this has nothing to do with any man that walked this earth. The being who is crucified is your awareness of being. The cross is your conception of yourself. The resurrection is the lifting into visibility of this conception of yourself. The cross is your conception of yourself. Your awareness dies on that cross. The way you think now needs to be crucified. So that way you can bring into visibility the conception of your new self. You can resurrect the person who you desire to be. Far from being a day, he said, this is far from being a day of mourning. Good Friday should be a day of rejoicing, for there can be no resurrection or expression unless there is first a crucifixion or impression. The thing to be resurrected in your case is that which you desire to be. To do this, You must feel yourself to be the thing you desired. You must feel. All right? Far from being a day of mourning, Good Friday should be a day of rejoicing, for there can be no resurrection or expression unless there is first a crucifixion. All right? So you will never be who you desire to be. You will never be the millionaire you want to be. You will never be the artist you want to be. You will never be the athlete you want to be. The inspiring, whatever you want to be. You will never be that unless a crucifixion happens within. You must kill your old self to walk into the resurrection of your new self. All right? This is why I love this book. This is the information that they don't want you to know. They want to keep you confused. They want to keep you locked away. They don't want you to ask questions. They don't want you to dig deep. They don't want you to resurrect. They don't want you to kill your old self. So with killing your old self, and I'm speaking metaphorically, I'm not talking physically. So I got to put that out there. Don't go out there and hurt your damn self. Killing your old self basically means disciplining yourself. That's what it means for me. Becoming a better person and sustaining from temptation. Disciplining yourself and really focusing on your purpose, really focusing on your goals, really having a clear balance in life. Staying righteous, like moving in the righteous way. And as you continue to do that, you will begin to walk into the resurrection of the person that you desire to be. You can achieve it. It's out there for you. Man or woman, it's out there for you. Whatever it is that you desire to be. You want to be a stylist, whatever it may be. You want to be the greatest, the best photographer. You want to do films. You want to act. Whatever it may be. It has to first start within first. You have to first be disciplined. Nothing is going to be handed to you. And if you don't achieve that within, and if you do so happen to still walk into this receiving of accomplishments, meaning that you may still be able to obtain a lot of wealth, a lot of money, but being that you did not conquer your temptations, being that you did not become your new self and crucify your old self, all that shit that you receive, you will lose. This is why you see a lot of people that become successful, become the people that they think they wanted to be, and then you look around in a year or two, they on drugs, they battling alcoholism, they in jail, they done killed themselves. Something happens to the point where it's just like, damn, but I thought they was happy, but I thought they was living a life. This is why you don't let this internet shit fool you. When people get on here acting like they in the best situation they ever been in, they in the best relationship, they in the happiest space in their life, that's just temporary moments that they having. And that's just them trying to convince themselves that they are happy. So they have to try to convince you that they are happy. But happiness starts with discipline. Happiness starts with discipline. So get discipline. Wake up so you can receive the fruits of your labor. Happy New Year. Happy blessings to everyone. This your boy, Millionaire Melly. I normally don't do this. Let me know if y'all want me to read some more stuff out of this book, because this is a powerful ass book. I'm telling you. Every man need this book. Every woman need this book. If you're in a relationship, I just need to get this book, man. That's all I'm saying. All right? Millionaire Melly in the building. Time for me to go start my day. Y'all stay positive. Peace.